looks than swift.
Incredible. An Asia Cup affair for the ages. A game worth staying up late for. And in the end, Charit Asalanka keeps his calm, keeps his cool amidst the rain and the storm around him and wickets falling and a game coming back to life which should have been sewn up by Sri Lanka. But Asalanka is the man who is the difference and takes Sri Lanka to their 12th final in Asia Cup cricket. 40 years of the tournament and we still wait for an India-Pakistan final. Heartbreak for Zaman Khan on ODI debut and the rest of Pakistan. Gave it everything, but it wasn't enough. We look back at a thrilling game that has decided the Asia Cup final on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Matchday, powered by JBL. We will hear from Urooj Mumtaz in Pakistan and Farveez Maharoof in Sri Lanka, who I'm sure are feeling a very different level of emotions. I'm going to give them some time to calm down. I'm going to go to the very objective, astute Anil Kumble first to just sum up what we've just seen, especially in that last over. Anil.
Yeah, it was brilliant by Asalanka. Yes, there were nerves. You could see that. He missed a couple of balls and then that 4 through third man. And the last ball, I thought he was very calm, knew exactly where he was expecting the ball to come and then knew the gaps and then didn't try too many things. One run could have given them a super over, but in the end, Sri Lanka deservedly, I thought, right through the chase, they were well in the game. They should have actually finished the game much earlier.
Yep.
But credit to Pakistan, Afridi again doing what we know that he can do, and Asalanka staying calm in the end, finishing the game for Sri Lanka.
Yep. That calmness, that last ball. There are so many shots that I'm sure go through a batter's mind on what he needs to do for 2 of 1. Asalanka bossed it. Farveez Maharoof, let's go to you to sum up your emotions right now. And just it's a story of the last over because everything has been cancelled out before that because we could have a very different result if the last 2 or 3 balls go in another direction. So just take me through what you're feeling and how happy are you for Charit Asalanka and how impressed were you by what he managed to do on those especially that last ball?
Yeah, almost speechless. Raunak adrenaline is so high. I'm sure how I'm going to sleep tonight because that's one of those days where everyone in the country was awake because Sri Lanka Pakistan a semi-final meeting India in the final is a massive day and the way Charit Asalanka handled himself under pressure, kept his cool, kept calm and made sure that Sri Lanka went through. Yes, Zaman Khan I thought very unlucky, especially the penultimate ball going for a boundary. I thought it was a decent delivery. Charit maybe deserved that luck going for a boundary, but the last delivery, most of the batters would have gone for a massive 6 with fine leg up, short mid wicket up, and the length was there. Charit Asalanka generally very strong towards mid wicket, could have gone for the slog towards mid wicket, but he didn't opt for it. He knew it's going to be either slow ball or Yorker. He set up for it, and he's calmly nudged it for a couple of runs. So I think this shows how calm and collective Charit Asalanka is. He's been the under-19 captain a few years ago. He's been earmarked as one of the leaders in the future. So it's a great day for Sri Lanka cricket. The things we have gone through in the past, and whether the storm with the rain and the 12th man right behind the entire team and the entire country stayed awake. Brilliant night, absolutely brilliant.
Nobody had left the R. Premadasa Stadium. This is nearly 1:15 at night, and I don't think they're going home straight away after a game like this. There'll be a bit of a party, I'm sure. But the defending champions keep their hopes alive of successfully defending this Asia Cup, right? Urooj Mumtaz, it seemed like Pakistan suddenly came to life towards the end. Brilliant catches, Shaheen Afridi among the wickets. I'm sure you're feeling right now, why didn't they do this sooner?
And the most unlikely part of that bowling group, Iftikhar probably stirred up a bit of a small storm. Brilliant catching in the outfield. And then Shaheen Afridi. I mean, you have to give credit where credit is due. And I thought all three, Mendes, Samara Vikrama and Asalanka, played gem of innings all the way from 222 for 5. You didn't expect this finish. So credit to Pakistan and led by, again, Shaheen Afridi as well to come into that penultimate few overs and to get back-to-back wickets and change the momentum of the game. But I just thought overall Sri Lanka played the better game.
I guess from what we saw in the India-Sri Lanka game a few days ago, Anil, difference here is the top order did not leave too much to do. They almost put them in a situation that they cannot lose from, even if something like this happens towards the end. So credit to the batters here, even though they didn't, not one of them, or rather except Asalanka, the others didn't sort of stay on and finish the job.
Yeah, when you needed 6 runs and over from the start, you need a good start at in the power play, which even that tiny innings that Mendes played. Mendes, of course, played wonderfully well. Kusal Pereira in that, that sort of set the tone for Sri Lanka innings. Of course, he got run out, and then Kusal Mendes played a wonderful knock. Very impressed with Sarita. Yes, he needs to jump out of the crease less often. He's been out twice now, stumped. So, but wonderful knock, and of course Asalanka was brilliant towards the end, just keeping a calm head and taking the pressure off, and wonderful innings.
Yeah, poor old Kusal Mendes has been out in the 90s twice now in this tournament. But Farveez, do you sense this is a good response from the batters after what they would have felt was a game that slipped away against India, one that they should have won and done more in?
I think the surface played a big part against India, and today the pitch was much better. And to be honest, the spinners in the middle over, Shadab and Mohammad Nawaz, wasn't threatening until Iftikhar Ahmed came and slowed things down, and he wanted the batters to make the pace rather than Shadab and Nawaz were giving the pace and quite short. If you take the wagon wheel, I think Shadab Khan's much of the scoring has been through a square of the wicket, so that's not a good sign going into a World Cup with Pakistan, one of the favourites when it comes to fast bowling, but spinners has been disappointing. But batting wise, I'm very happy for Kusal Mendes. He went through a lean period, lots of criticism. He came out of it, very unlucky to miss that 100 in Lahore, got run out. And today against an off spinner, getting a leading edge and caught at extra cover, that was pretty unlucky. But they say peak late is better than peak early. So I think Sri Lanka peaking late in the Asia Cup, maybe, just maybe, one of the dark horses going into the World Cup. You never know, as we all know. World Cup campaign is all matter of starting well and keeping that momentum. I feel with 4 of the frontline bowlers still to come to this side, definitely can be a force to reckon with.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a World Cup in our part of the world. We've seen Sri Lanka being a force in that. Pakistan bow out though as a result of this defeat for a team that started this tournament on such a high, the #1 ranked team. It seemed like this is the team to beat, especially after the first game against India too that ended in a washout. So Urooj, I guess as we look back at this game and also look at broader takeaways for Pakistan, first and foremost for today, how fair do you think it is to be critical of Pakistan in the second innings, why it looked so flat throughout the majority of that innings, and it only came to life later of perhaps Babar and the captaincy, or whether Shaheen Afridi on what's now clearly a challenge when there are flat surfaces? How do you put all that in perspective from what you've seen of Pakistan? It's been a tournament that unfortunately has just tapered off as it's gone deeper.
Yeah, I think Pakistan thrives with their trio of fast bowlers and them denting the game in the power play, picking up wickets, or at least getting the ball to nip around where it's not that easy to hit the ball or get them away for runs. And I said that earlier in the game as well, Pakistan will definitely miss them, especially in such a tight game where you don't have the likes of Naseem Shah and Haris Rauf. I thought, again, Zaman did well. But just looking at this game, I couldn't understand why Wasim Jr. didn't take the new ball and it was given to Zaman Khan. Also putting into context, again, taking nothing away from Asalanka, but Rizwan dropped a catch when he was on 10.
Yep.
So let's not forget that probably could have been the turning point for the game, or at least could have made things slightly more different. Fielding was, I thought, ground fielding, I thought was slightly laboured from Pakistan. The way Asalanka ran between the wickets, it was commendable to watch because he didn't hit a lot of boundaries. It was up and down the wicket and putting the fielders at the boundary, pushing them for turning ones into twos. So all of those things, I think you can't be too critical of Pakistan today because obviously they missed their frontline 2 bowlers. What was nice to see is how they turned up towards the back and at least tried to make a game out of this. But there were a few glaring things that do come out. I thought, again, Wasim Jr. not taking the new ball, Rizwan's drop catch were 2 that really probably could have made the impact in the result of the game.
Yeah, the Rizwan's a big moment, that chance, because it's regulation one, and we brought it up before. Anil, you mentioned it. He's had a pretty ordinary tournament behind the stumps. Great innings today, but that was a crucial moment as the game spanned out.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Pakistan fielding throughout this Asia Cup hasn't been the best amongst the subcontinent teams. Pakistan perhaps has lagged behind. I mean, Sri Lanka was brilliant on the field today. tough, challenging conditions because of the rain and a little bit of wet outfield as well. But their outfielding hasn't been great for Pakistan. And Rizwan behind the stumps, I mean, that's something that they need to certainly sort out. And the spin, Iftikhar has been their best spinner.
Yes, Shadab's had a very poor tournament.
He hasn't picked wickets. Yes, today he got one. Against India he got one, but those were not convincing as a spinner. And Nawaz again was restrictive. I'm not sure. You need your spinners to come to the party, especially in the World Cup in India, if they have to go all the way, because their fast bowling attack is really good. With Rizwan coming into form, then the opener coming in and scoring a 50, that's a good sign for Pakistan. Fakhar Zaman again looked totally out of sorts today. So yes, with all the injuries that Pakistan have, and they all come back into the team, they'll be a force, but they need to buckle up their fielding, and of course behind the stumps you need to accept whatever catches you get.
Yeah, Farveez, I think you've got something to add here as well. You followed a fair bit of Pakistan recently as well, covering the Afghanistan series too. Thoughts?
Yeah, I just want to make a point where in the middle overs, when the spinners were on, the fielders in the inner ring, I think the body language, the attitude. I would like to take this comparison with India and Pakistan and Sri Lanka. I thought Sri Lanka and India, when body language was much better, attitude, they were throwing themselves around, and there was no putting their hands up and complaining about it. But what I saw from Pakistan today was disappointing, because remember, they are the number one team in the world when it comes to ODI cricket. But how many times the captain and the fielders were putting their hands up and not happy about some of the decisions being made? So under pressure, I thought Pakistan did panic in ground fielding. Yes, they took some brilliant catches. I'm not saying just because they lost the match, but overall, when you see a Virat Kohli, a Rohit Sharma, fielders who are in front of the square with attitude, giving that aggression. As a batter, if you're at the crease and when you feel it, the fielders are right at you. You feel the pressure. But with Pakistan, I just don't get that killer instincts, and I don't think they wear that pride in their chest being the number one team, because they're a much better team than this.
Would you be concerned as part of that management ahead of the World Cup? There's no more cricket for them now, and injuries. It's been a nightmarish week actually. The 2 days against India, losing 2 bowlers, more players injured ahead of today. Are they still a dangerous team, or do they now suddenly have a lot of unchecked boxes?
No, they are certainly a dangerous team on their particular day, but what as a support staff, what the management would be hoping for is consistent performances, right from the batting and bowling. Fielding is something that you can really be consistent, but Pakistan have been disappointing throughout the Asia Cup. I mean, even against India, their fielding wasn't ideal. Yes, they took some good catches, but overall the ground fielding has been poor, and you need everyone to sort of come together and stay consistent in a World Cup. I mean, yes, they will have those odd moments, one bad game, but then it seems like Pakistan are expecting the big boys to always fire. You want the younger lot to come to the party as well.
Urooj, final words after hearing what Farveez and Anil have said on just Pakistan, and what does this make them now even more dangerous and perhaps even stronger favourites for the World Cup, that they've had such a poor Asia Cup and now expectations would be somewhat humbled?
I mean, what Anil said is absolutely right. Pakistan will have their day, but you can't win global mega events on just having a good day. You have to have good weeks, and for that you need to be consistent. And that's exactly where Pakistan's problem lies. Just like, but at the eve of the World Cup, there are top order issues with Fakhar Zaman getting his chance again today and again, completely looking out of sorts. Blessing in disguise, almost, that Abdullah Shafiq does again check that box where he is a top order fixing, like you fix that problem with Abdullah Shafiq. To me, the two most glaring issues will be batting intent, which we saw lack of completely throughout this Asia Cup. And the other thing is that we still lack a quality spinner. I've been saying this from the get-go. Shadab is your all-rounder. He's not your frontline quality spinner. Unless Pakistan makes some dramatic changes and call a few quality spinners up for the World Cup, I don't know. So that'll be two things that they will have to really look at. And the other thing will be, again, I said this from the start as well, their fourth bowler as an all-rounder, somebody like, again, Mitch Marsh or Cam Green, Hardik Pandya, stroke. Ben Stokes jumps to mind, right? So those are the few boxes that Pakistan will have to look at considerably, and will have to take some really brave decisions because you can't turn up and expect to have one good day to win a World Cup.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment, and I think it's fair to also end our chat with Sri Lanka. They've been the team that have played to the tag of favourites going into this game, and it's fair to say every team has a story with injuries. So it's one thing to be a little more compassionate towards Pakistan. Sri Lanka, Farveez, entered this tournament without any of their bowlers. They've made the final now, and their batting seems to have improved significantly. They made good changes in a must-win game today. You think Anil makes the point of Kushal Perera, Madhushan played his part as well. How impressed are you with Sri Lanka pulling through in spite of all the challenges they've had to face?
When the chips are down, most of the time Sri Lankans have delivered. Remember the last Asia Cup, we said the same. How they started, some of the bowlers were missing. They ended up winning the championship. Even this Asia Cup, when they started, 4 frontline bowlers are missing. We had our doubts, but everyone was proven wrong by this young lot, led by Mahesh Theekshana, then Kasun Raditha, Matisha Patirana. All these players have done well, and Dunit Lalage. I mean, he's been a revelation, not only with the ball, even in the field. He looks somebody that for a 20-year-old is assured and is enjoying the big moment. So these are good signs going forward for Sri Lanka. Yes, there are areas that Sri Lanka would like to brush up before playing that first game against South Africa. And overall, I think the squad is good. The combination is well. And it's just a matter of carrying on this form to the Asia Cup final, of course, on Sunday, and the all-important first game in the World Cup.
I think Mahesh Theekshana, Anil, aptly sums up the Sri Lankan spirit. And who better than you to know of a spinner who bowls through pain in the body, and in spite of a hamstring issue, not being able to walk out with bat, and he's played such a big part in Asalanka's absence. This is quite the story for Sri Lanka to make the final ahead of Pakistan.
Oh yes, they don't have their frontline bowling attack other than Theekshana, and today we saw that he had an injury, but yet came on to bowl those last 3 overs and certainly made an impact. And the kind of spirit and attitude that he showed was very, very heartening. But I'm not. Will he be fit for the final?
Yep.
That's a bit of a concern. You don't want your main spinners to sort of have this kind of an injury, especially a hamstring. It may take a couple of weeks. You don't want that with the World Cup.
Sure.
Just a couple of 3 weeks from now. So ideally, you would want all your bowlers to come back fit. But hats off to Theekshana. I thought the spirit was there, and the intent and the attitude that Sri Lankans showed today deservedly in the final.
Yeah, absolutely. Well done, Sri Lanka. Story lives on from the highs of what happened last year in the T20 format, and incredible that they've achieved this and beaten the #1 ranked team in Pakistan today. Kushal Mendes is player of the match officially. There's probably a case for Charit Asalanka. I mean, Iftikhar had that coming his way all of a sudden with runs and wickets. Have the result gone the other way? But happy with that, Anil? Kushal Mendes, player of the match?
Yeah, I thought he batted brilliantly. He kept wickets well. That's something that we have seen him do consistently, and of course, his batting was brilliant. I thought he played the perfect innings. Of course, it was disappointing that he couldn't score 100, and probably if he had stayed there, the game would have been over with 2 overs to spare. But a wonderful knock.
Yeah, Farveez, Kushal Mendes, happy with that? Very happy. He's lost for words. Let me ask Urooj instead.
No, it was perfect because I think he was the one who set the game up. He took the attack to the Pakistan bowlers, and to do it over a strike rate of 100, always very good. Obviously, he deserved 100. Probably sad for him to miss out on that and not carry bat through and get Sri Lanka over the line. But the other thing of note in Sri Lanka is there's different players speaking as match winners as we go into this tournament, which again will probably a very good sign. And on that note, I think Farveez is back as well. So good time for Sri Lanka.
Yeah, absolutely. He's back now. I thought he put a little screenshot of himself and went to party with the Sri Lankan team just to, it's already a late night. But yeah, Farveez happy with that. Kushal Mendes?
Absolutely. I thought he played a timely innings. Even before the game, when we did the pre-show, I said one of the top 3 got to make a big one, and the rest of the batters could bat around. And Kushal Mendes, as they say, when you start scoring runs after lean period is important. You carry on with the good form, and he's the vice captain. He has a lot of responsibility, and it's good to see him taking that responsibility and finishing off games. Unfortunately, 200s missed in the Asia Cup, but I'll take that. I'll take that because Sri Lanka is keep winning. End of the day, the team matters the most than the individual.
All right, that is pretty much it then. What a game this was, not only for how it turned out, but I don't know how many reduced games you've been part of, gentlemen and ladies, which have actually ended 4 hours after what a full game would have ended. But such are the unique facets of our game. So I must say thank you very much to Urooj Mumtaz. Unfortunately, this is where we say goodbye to her as far as our live coverage goes, but I'm sure it won't be long before we see her again with the World Cup coming up. Urooj, thank you very much for your time and your thoughts, and I hope you're satisfied with the degree of criticism that you've allotted to Pakistan. I can tell you it's been superb. I hope you've enjoyed your time.
It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been a lot of fun as always, and then hoping for Pakistan to make a better return in the World Cup. And good luck to you two, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Urooj, former Pakistan captain Urooj Mumtaz. Always brilliant hearing from her. Farveez Maharoof, you're going nowhere. Make sure you join us on Sunday after what should be a party tonight, Farveez, with the team. They still party in Colombo, don't they?
I had to wake up at 5:30, so I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to party on Sunday.
You're going to party?
Oh.
You're going to party on Sunday. That's confidence. Shots fired, Mr. Kumble.
Yeah, I know, I know. Just keep looking out of the window there. Ensure the cloud cover doesn't come up to Premadasa. Ensure the weather gods are happier during the game. So they don't want any rain in the final.
Let's also spell it out. We have a reserve day for the final. This is yet another 2-day international we've covered. So anyway, thank you very much, Urooj. Absolute pleasure. Farveez Maharoof, we will see you in a couple of days. Anil Kumble, we'll see you in a couple of hours.
Yeah,
it's time you head to the hotel and return for India-Bangladesh coverage, which comes away very quickly. Must give a shout out to the ground staff at the Premadasa. They've just worked so hard, and they're going to have to prepare for another game tomorrow. So well done to them. We've got every game in the Super Fours in the Asia Cup giving us a result in spite of the weather. So we look forward to your company for what will be the final Super 4 game, India and Bangladesh. That'll begin just around the toss. So join us at 2:30 on Maruti Suzuki Arena Presents, ESPN Cricket Info Matchday, powered by JBL. And do download the mobile app. I'm sure there'll be plenty written and said as a result of how eventful this game was. Good on Charit Asalanka to get 3 of the last ball too, just in case you're going to start reaching out to that 1 run reduced because of DLS. Anyway, such are the margins that decide teams that end up on which side of the result. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Stunning looks, then swift.
Make sure you download the ESPN Cricket Info app to stay updated with the very latest from the world of cricket.